The seasons change, but the inescapable pandemic is a constant. Today the government met again to try to curb its spread. Afterwards, confirmation that the country will remain largely shut down until at least early March. The Taoiseach outlined the stark reason why.
And even at the end of February, with the best outcome, if you like, or potentially best outcome scenario, you're still looking at between 800 and 1,300 in hospital and potentially 100 in intensive care. And that is why we must keep the pressure up on the virus and do everything we possibly can to reduce it.
And to achieve that, the government has focused on international travel and is tightening restrictions.
With some exceptions, anyone entering the state from overseas will be subject to mandatory quarantine. In some cases, that will be mandatory quarantine in a hotel. In most cases, mandatory quarantine at home. But it will be mandatory, not advisory, for the first time.
Just like here in Donegal today, guarded checkpoints will be stepped up to enforce the rule around the 5-kilometre limit. And those found outside that limit and intending to travel abroad could face a fine of possibly €500. However, a growing number of political parties want the government to go further.
The idea that you would leave it to people's best discretion to quarantine at home, that to me is crazy. I think the right thing to announce today was a complete, universal, mandatory quarantine.
The stance in government buildings this evening is that this latest plan can work because, unlike previous attempts to outwit the virus, these efforts will be boosted by the rollout of the vaccine. The passage of time will reveal who's correct.
And Micheál joins us now. Micheál, it seems like there's an awful lot of work to be done before these measures can take effect. What kind of a timeline are we looking at?
I think it is several weeks at least, Eileen. A lot of work to be done. Legislation will be needed to ensure that some of those measures announced today apply to EU citizens. That will require more than just regulations, so laws will have to be passed. Where exactly the centres where people will be taken to if they don't have that negative COVID test or if they're travelling in from Brazil or South Africa, they have to be identified. It looks like they could be hotels near airports. But that entire system is going to have to get up and running, and that's going to take some time too. Also, the Attorney General and the government looking at, do the new laws announced and the new regulations that are being spoken about, will they apply to residents of Northern Ireland who are travelling down here? That's something that clarity has to be provided on as well. So there is some distance to travel on this. And indeed some concern, as I understand it, at Cabinet level today. Ministers Catherine Martin, Simon Harris and the Chief Whip, Jack Chambers, all asking if these proposals go far enough and asking too about the timelines and seeking more details on that. That shows you the scale of the challenge here. And I suppose it was one of those days where not even the illusion of certainty was provided. That press conference with the Taoiseach, the Taoiseach and the Transport Minister emphasising several times this evening that there are no guarantees. But I suppose one positive note, something highlighted by the Taoiseach, that is that the COVID-19 case numbers, they appear to be, judging on the present trajectory, halving every 10 days. And that does raise perhaps even the strong possibility that schools may be able to return on a phased basis in the latter part of next month.
All right, Micheál, thank you for that.